If you're stuck in the feast and famine of business, if you're an online coach, starting from zero every single month, maybe you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, and you've tried everything. You've tried the systems, the gurus, the coaching plans, the investments. You've done plenty of these in the past, but you still feel like you're stuck in the same place. Then I would highly recommend you focusing and working on these core 4 areas and not focusing for a while on the systems, on the delivery and everything else. Because I was someone once that really struggled with business. I was someone that really struggled to increase my income, and even if I did, it fell short very quickly until I started focusing on these core 4 areas. Because it's not about chasing the system, it's not about chasing the business, it's not about chasing the outcomes of financial gains. It's about chasing the character and identity that you need to start creating so that you can achieve those goals with ease. And it all starts with this core 4 process. So I'm going to walk you through it in this video, and you can start taking action straight away. So the 4 areas that you want to be working on is: number 1, your physiology. Number 2 is your focus and attention. Number 3 is your language. And number 4 is your environment. And I'm going to break these down step by step so you can start taking action, you can start doing an audit on yourself, and you can start making the changes and seeing what's in the gap and what you need to start implementing and removing from your life, from your energy, from your habits, so you can become the 2.0 version that you know you can be. So let's look at physiology. A lot of people want to perform well in their business, but they treat themselves like shit. They're expecting to feel good, they're expecting to have high energy, focus, discipline, and great emotional management. And if you're not looking after you, you can't look after your business, you can't look after your customers, and you can't look after whatever marketing plans that you have for the future. So what you need to start looking at is your physiology. I used to be someone that was 4 stone heavier than I am right now. I was in a business for a very long time where I was just in feast and famine, hustling every single day, working 12 to 15 hours, and I let my health slip. And as my health started to slip, so did everything else. So we need to start looking at our physiology. And what I mean by our physiology is movement, is the food that you're eating, is your posture, is your breathing, your sleep, and many other factors. In order to start creating energy, we need to start creating movement. It's the only way to do it. Whether it's going out for a morning walk, getting that workout in first thing in the morning, or even just joining a class or going for a bike ride, you've got to start moving. By you moving more, you're going to create energy, because we can't get energy, right? You can't get it. And if you do get it, you have to borrow it, you have to pay it back through stimulants and other things. Next, we're looking at your food. Personally, myself, I prefer to stick to intermittent fasting. So I don't eat until anywhere between 12 and 2 p.m. most days. And then when I do eat, I eat high protein, high fat, and I save the carbs for the evening. And the reason for this is that if I don't put food in my body first thing in the morning, I'm in this awake, like this heightened state. I'm in this heightened state where I have high focus, high energy. And this goes back to when we were like cavemen, right? We needed to be alert in the mornings. We needed to be alert for periods of time so we could either hunt for food or run away from predators. And if you just start your day off with a big bowl of porridge or some jam on toast and a cup of coffee, what you're going to do by putting carbs in your body and a heavy meal is you're going to awaken the parasympathetic nervous system. So your nervous system has 2 divisions, right? It has one where you have to think about it, like what I'm doing right now, raising my hand, closing my fist, writing on the board. And then we have a system which works on its own automatically. Like for example, when I had lunch, I'm not standing here right now thinking about digesting my meal, right? This happens on its own. And the parasympathetic nervous system, and if you think of the word para as in paralyzed, means to slow down. So if you want to get up and go in the mornings, if you want to be able to run through walls, be able to smash and dominate the day, or whatever language you use, if you're just ingesting a load of carbs in the morning or a big heavy breakfast, you're going to be slowing yourself down. Also, you're going to get more mental clarity and focus. And then if you start eating things when you break your fast, like proteins and fats, ribeye steak, avocados, whatever it may be, what you're going to do is you're going to be using that fuel for focus. You're going to be using that fuel for work, and you're not going to be spiking your sugar levels. Because if you have a big carby lunch, right? I used to eat a lot of pasta, a lot of rice when I used to do bodybuilding. What happens after you eat that big meal? You feel sleepy, you feel tired, and you're not going to feel inspired to do more work. So what I prefer to stick to is intermittent fasting, so fasting for 16 to 18 hours a day, holding off breakfast until 12 to 2 o'clock, and making sure I eat high protein, high fat foods, and as organic and as whole as possible. And then in the evenings, if I want to have some carbs, like some sweet potato, some pasta, or some sourdough bread, then what I can do is I can take advantage of that by making it make me feel sleepy, so I get better sleep. If I get better sleep, I get more REM, which is rapid eye movement. If I get more REM, I release more growth hormone. If I do the same, I release more testosterone, and that's just going to give me that hunger and inspiration for the day. And a lot of people do not focus on this when they're trying to create and grow a successful business. All they're focusing on is the systems. All they're focusing on is marketing and selling. And the phrase I love to use with my clients and the people I work with is that you're never going to experience business problems. You're never going to experience sales problems, marketing problems. You're only going to experience energy and life problems that show up and manifest inside of your business. So we've got to fix your physiology first, and then we can start looking at the other areas. Things like your posture. How's your desk set up? Are you on your feet all day? Are you sitting one side like I am right now? You know, looking at your posture. Also looking at your breathing. A lot of people breathe from their chest and shoulders when we need to start breathing deeply, and also using the power of the breath. You may have heard of Wim Hof, the guy that likes to live in the cold. You know, I would highly recommend downloading his Wim Hof app, doing some breath work in the mornings, and it's really going to get you into that high energy state and get you focused and start changing your body's vibration and changing your body's frequency so that it's in an alignment with the goals and the outcomes that you want to achieve. And then last but not least is sleep. I cannot recommend getting 7 to 8 hours sleep enough. I'm someone that used to run a business where I was up at 4:15 a.m. every single day when I was a personal trainer, and then I was going to bed at 11, 12 o'clock every single night, and it massively wrecked my progress. So I don't actually have an alarm clock anymore. I just have a time that I have to go to bed every night. And I need to be in bed every night by 10 to 10:30 at the latest, because every hour we get before 12 o'clock is worth 2 hours in the sack. And then when I wake up in the mornings, I'm usually woken by my 5-month-old daughter around about 5 or 6 o'clock, which means I get my 7 to 8 hours, and I'm waking up when I feel like I need to wake up, as well as if I need more rest and sleep, I can take advantages of that as well. So that is step number 1, is to work on your physiology. If you're not moving correctly, if you're not eating the right foods, if you're not working on your posture, your breathing, and your sleep, you're really going to struggle to make strides in business. And this is the stuff most of the gurus don't talk about, okay? It's because they're just trying to get you to commit to these programs where it's get you to 10K in 10 days, 10K in 90 days, and so on and so forth. And I know this for a fact because I used to coach that way, and I used to be in these type of coaching programs, but you don't really know what's going on in people's lives, right? I could take on, say, 3 clients and say to them, I'm going to promise you, I'm going to get you to 10K a month in the next 90 days. But I don't realize that one of them has an alcohol problem, another one has a relationship problem, and another one has a confidence problem. And if they're not able to overcome that by looking after themselves first, they're not going to be able to implement the systems and make it successful, and also consistently do it time and time again, so they never go back to the old ways. And I hope this is kind of sinking in now, right? Next, we're looking at your focus and your attention, okay? So where your focus goes, your energy flows and the results show. And where you place your attention is where you gain momentum. And what I mean by this is that I want you to try and reframe living your life. So most people say, I want to live a good life, right? I'm living my life right now. What if we just reframe that to I'm experiencing life? So life is an experience, and you can only experience what you're focusing on, right? So if I'm focusing on social media and I'm doom scrolling, all I'm doing is giving everyone else my attention. And if I give everyone else my attention, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to compare myself to others. I'm going to feel a lack of certain things. I'm going to judge myself. I may get jealous. I may get overwhelmed. Yes, I might potentially get inspired, but I really want to free up that energy. Sorry for the noise. I really want to free up that energy and attention for myself, because as I said before, where your focus goes, your energy flows and the results show. And I want you to look at your attention as like there's all of these wormholes around you right now. And all of these wormholes are attached to a certain frequency, because everything is everywhere all at once. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you're driving in the car and you're listening to the radio. and you tune into country music, for example, you're tuning into that frequency. If you want to change the dial and choose into rap, for example, when you tune into that radio station, the radio operator or presenter doesn't put in his headphones and think, oh crap, I better switch that radio station on for that person. Because all of the stations and all of the frequencies are playing at the exact same time, and you get to pick and choose and decide what you tune into. And it's exactly the same for your focus and attention. If all of your focus is in the future, of your lack of what you don't have, or all of the things that you're worried about in the future, or what might go wrong, or what could happen, then you're not being present in the moment, you're living in the future. And if you're living in the future mentally, you can't affect in the present moment right now and manifest the actions and do the things to change tomorrow. Because if all you keep doing is thinking about the future, but you don't take action in the present, you're technically bringing the past, and I hope you're following me here, you're bringing the past into the present moment, and you're just reliving it over and over again. The same thing is if your attention's this way, and you're just focused on the past. You're focusing on things like regret, all the bad things that happened to you, all the bad experiences, then all you're going to be doing is conjuring up these feelings and emotions of depression and sadness and fear and scarcity, and it's just going to lower your vibration. And what I mean by the vibration is that frequency. And if you're in that low frequency, you're not going to be able to tap into high energy. You're not going to be able to tap into high focus. You're not going to be able to tap into high and big opportunities. You're not going to be able to become creative. So when it comes to your focus and attention, it's all about asking yourself powerful questions. It's all about redirecting your focus, because we're going to experience challenges every single day. And challenges is what really messes up people's progress and their ability to deal with it. So let's just say we're at point A here, which is your current situation, and you want to get to point B here, which is the next checkpoint, which is your desired situation. So this could be from 4K a month, and you want to be at 10K a month, for example. Well, the obstacles and challenges aren't in your way. The obstacles and challenges are on their way. So there could be a challenge here. There could be a challenge there. There could be a challenge there as well. And your ability to deal with challenge is going to really affect your ability to keep moving forward and make progress in your business, because the obstacles are on their way, they're not in the way. And one thing I want to leave you with is what one of my coaches taught me about 7 years ago that really helped me redirect my focus when I was feeling challenged, when I was feeling stressed, when I was feeling like I'm kind of coming off the, falling off the horse, falling off the wagon, as we like to say in the UK, even though I'm living in the Mediterranean now, is something called a happiness buffet. Because most people, when they're challenged and they're stressed and they get triggered, they actually have a sadness buffet. It's a bit like driving down the road and you get a flat tire. And instead of getting out and patching up the tire and carrying on driving, instead, you open up the trunk of the car, you grab a baseball bat, and you smash the rest of the car up. This is what most people do in business and most people do in life, is they experience a challenge. They get triggered by someone, they get triggered by something, and then they just ruin and wreck the whole day. And you had a mission for that day. You had an intention and a list of things to do, but yet you scrap them away, you go home, and you cope the way you do. Because when you're experiencing high challenges, you're never going to rise to your highest expectations of yourself. You're going to fall to your lowest level of training. So how the happiness buffet works is that I want you to create a list on your phone, in your notes section, or in a notepad yourself, and I want you to write down 10 things that make you smile and feel good. But there are 3 caveats to it. It cannot involve a person, because they may not be there. It cannot involve a date in the future, because then you're delaying your happiness. And it cannot involve a location, because you won't be able to get there at the time. So to give you a few examples of what's on my happiness buffet, and the reason why we do this is because when you are triggered, when you are challenged, you need to redirect your focus, because if you keep focusing on the problem, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to think of all the possible scenarios, the outcomes, the disasters, the things that could go wrong. And what you need to do is redirect your focus. So not block it out, don't think about it, just change the focus. It's a bit like if I took you guys to a nudist beach, right? And I said, don't look at people's bits. It's going to be extremely hard for you to not look at all of the naked people, right? But what if I said to you, instead of not looking, which is extremely hard, why don't you just focus on that dolphin swimming in and out of the water? Because it's easier to redirect your focus onto something else than to not focus and not think about something for a long period of time. It's extremely hard to just block it out. So some of the things that are on my happiness buffet is I can get my phone out and look at pictures of my wife, my dog and my daughter. That makes me feel good. I can do something called the 3x3 exercise. So I write down on a piece of paper or in my phone, 3 people that love me, 3 people that I love, and 3 things that I'm grateful for. And what that does is it changes the chemistry in the brain. It changes the feelings and emotions. Because right now, your brain doesn't know where you are and what you're doing. It's just relaying the information of your thoughts and feelings about your environment. It's like if I said to you right now, close your eyes and think of the saddest and most regretful moment of your life. You'll take yourself there. And if I said to you, close your eyes right now and think about the happiest and most proud part of your life, you'll take yourself there, even though your physical body isn't there. So we can think ourselves happy, we can think ourselves unhappy, we can think ourselves calm, and we can think ourselves stressed. So it's all about redirecting your focus. So I have things, like I said, looking at pictures of my family, writing down the 3x3 exercise. I might go on YouTube on my phone and learn a new dad joke, or watch some bloopers of like Ricky Gervais, one of my favorite comedians. And if someone's triggered me, if someone's stressed me out, or something's thrown my energy and focus off, I calm, think about the people I love, think about the people who love me, think about the things I'm grateful for, learn a new dad joke, do some push-ups, do some star jumps, and, you know, look at pictures of my family and be angry and pissed off at the same time. It can't happen. So what I do is I then ride that emotional wave. I take 5 minutes to zoom out, and I'm like, well, all of these problems that I'm experiencing right now, if it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, in 5 years, don't give it 5 minutes. So it allows me to keep moving forward. That's just one technique you can use. So now we've covered 2 of these areas. So working on your physiology, working on your movement with food, sleep, breath work is going to really become your superpower as a business owner, because it's going to help you manage, protect and cultivate energy. And energy is key. Then we're looking at your focus and attention. Where your focus goes, your energy flows and the results show. And what you give the most attention is where you gain the most momentum. So if you're giving all the stresses and challenges attention, you're just going to gain momentum and get more of it back. But if you can redirect your focus using the happiness buffet, you can place your attention where you really want to gain momentum, which is moving one step closer to your inspiring and compelling future. Next on the list, we have language. And your language starts to create your identity, okay? And your identity and language is attached to 2 words. And these 2 words are the most powerful words you will ever say to yourself, which is, I am. Some of you right now might say, I am an unlucky person. I am not good with tech. I'm not good at sales. I'm not a risk taker, and so on from there. And as the great Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can do something, whether you think you can't do something, you are always 100% right. So you've got to check your language. Why do you think when we write words, we call it spelling? Because it casts spells. So check your self-negative talk. Check your internal dialogue, what you repeatedly tell yourself over and over again. Check your assumptions as well, because we have assumptions about the world, we have assumptions about ourselves, and it's how we bring order to chaos. But if your current assumptions about the world, whether you assume business is easy or money is hard to come by, or whether you feel like you're worthy enough or you're talented enough or you're good with tech, check that language, because the more you think it, the more it's going to program you, the more you're going to believe it, the more you're going to act on it or not act on it, and then that's going to create your results. And this is what creates a paradigm. And a paradigm is just a lens that you view a certain situation, a certain task, or a certain thing through. Let's take sales, for example. Most people don't like selling. Most people don't like talking to strangers. And no wonder. If you're anything like I was when I was brought up by my mother, she told me as a small kid, don't speak to strangers. So when I got older, of course I didn't want to approach that girl. Of course I didn't want to try and make friends if I don't know someone. Of course I was shy. Of course I didn't want to work in a sales role or ask for the business initially, because it was just my pre-programming. But once you start inverting your current I ams, once you start inverting your current beliefs, you start to change your I ams. And if you change your I ams, you can change your world. You can change your life. You can change your outcomes. You can change the results that you're producing right now and move that needle one step closer to your inspiring and compelling future. So you want to be checking your language. And then last but not least, we have your environment, okay? Hopefully you can see this, I've got a bit of shadow here. And this is your environment, okay? This is your internal environment and your external environment. And if your environment is in direct competition to and opposed to the results and the goals and the outcomes you want to get, you're going to lose every single time, because your environment will trump your will. And if all you have left is willpower, in my honest and humble opinion, willpower is the lowest form of power, right? Having the willpower only lasts so long. So let's say, for example, you want to start feeling more happier, more productive. If you're constantly spending time with people that moan about their lack of things, they talk about other people, they talk about negative experiences, sooner or later, you're going to start acting and thinking as they do. If you look at your environment as well, how is it set up to complement your life? If you have some potential habits that you want to remove, let's just say you were like me. Several years ago, I was a very heavy drinker. And if I was to keep alcohol at home all the time, if I was to have like a decanter next to my desk filled with whiskey and continue to go out with the same people that drink all the time, it doesn't matter how much willpower I have, I'm eventually going to crack. So start looking at your environment, not just your internal, but also your external. What foods are you putting in your mouth? What are you viewing every single day? What's going in your ears? What are your senses picking up? Because everything that you believe right now, everything you believe to be true about sales, about marketing, about growing a business, about making money online, is all created through your past events that you've experienced through your senses. So if you can start to change your environment, you'll change what your senses are taking on. Therefore, changing the environment will change the belief, it will change the paradigm, it will change the actions that you do daily, and therefore you'll be able to take more aggressive action, you'll be able to step more closer to your inspiring future, and you'll be able to get a handle finally on the feast and famine in business. I was there once. I've tried them all. I spent hundreds of thousands on gurus, coaches, programs, and for a while I was making progress, and then I sucked. I made some big months, I made some low months. And it wasn't until I started focusing on my physiology, my focus and attention, my environment, and my self-talk, which was creating my identity. And it wasn't until then that I skyrocketed my income. I skyrocketed my results, and also skyrocketed my relationships. I'm now happily married. I have a 5-month-old daughter. We now live in the Mediterranean. And if it wasn't for this foundation that I created, I wouldn't be able to consistently implement the systems to grow my business. I wouldn't be able to consistently show up for my clients. I wouldn't be able to consistently show up on social media. I wouldn't be able to do my best work and make impact in people's lives and deliver value. So I hope this video has been useful. I'd love to hear your comments and takeaways below. And if you did like it, if you did get some value, just pop a little subscribe, a like and a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.